Hey, performers, welcome back to Creatively Performing Arts Podcast. I am so excited to talk today because we're going to talk about how to actually start singing on a weekly basis, like regularly, so that you can truly create your own practice routine as a singer and performer, whether you're just starting, you're a beginner, you're restarting, and you really want to be intentional and consistent about singing on a regular basis. I understand it can be hard when you have so many other things going on in your life, right? But it is important for us to be intentional about using our gifts, right? Like if you're here, if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you know you have a gift to give. You know that you are creative. You have this passion for performing, for theater, for music, and you want to share it, right? And you know that you want to grow it, you want to work on it, you want to be the best that you can be, right? And that starts with being really intentional about consistently growing. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to have like the perfect practice routine that you stick to every day. Trust me. You will fall off sometimes, but at least you have, something that you can turn to. You know how to warm up, you know how to what songs you want to work on right now, and you have like ways that you know that you've built in time in your days or in your week where you're working on your voice or you're working on your craft, right? Whether you're doing it as a hobby, as a creative passion project, or as a career, right? You want to be intentional about growing this gift that you have. So let's get into it. I'm going to give you some really simple things that you can do, simple tips to actually start singing regularly, right? So that you are using your creative gift, you are doing what you love regularly and as often as possible. So it's going to be fun. Let's get into the episode. Hey performer, welcome to the Creatively Performing Arts Podcast. Are you ready to get back to your creative passion for singing and performing again? Do you find yourself Googling, is it too late to start dancing or songs for auditions? Do you wake up with big creative goals only to think if only I kept training or I'll never be good enough? Hi, I'm Estelle, beginner singing coach, performing artist, 20-something musical theater lover, and Christ-centered creative. I also grew up performing, and after college, I felt called to start intentionally using these gifts again, but I thought it was too late to get training and it was selfish to make time for the arts. But then I realized the solution is to just get started. In this podcast, you're going to find beginner singing and performing tips, inspiration from amazing performing artists, and help to overcome fear and imposter syndrome so that you can finally start singing, acting, and dancing again. So pause your Broadway playlist, take a vocal rest, and submit that last audition self-tape, honey, because the show is starting and you're the star of it. Let's begin. All right, so how can we start singing on a weekly basis? I am not perfect at this. I will just give a little disclaimer. I sometimes have moments right now, I'll be really honest. Right now, let me get vulnerable. My voice I've literally not told anyone about this really, but my voice I've definitely had some vocal fatigue on and off for a while, and I'm working on getting into an ENT appointment, but I've just been using very science-backed vocal health techniques to rest and take days off and things like that. I need to utilize steaming more. I know that's something that I want to work on and really do. But yeah, so because of that, sometimes I'm like, today I have, this is supposed to be on my list, this is on my schedule to practice this today, but my voice just really isn't feeling up to it because maybe I was using it a lot yesterday or whatever. So you have to pay attention to your vocal health and your well-being, absolutely. And then of course you have days where you're just busy, right? And you're you have this on schedule, but things just change, external circumstances happen, whatever, right? So give yourself grace. It's fine. You're not going to do this perfectly every week. Trust me, you're not. But at least it's nice to know that you have something that you have the option to stick to and that you kind of have an established habit sticking to an extent. Okay, so with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into some of my tips, my 5 tips. I'm going to be sharing, like, as always, I'll be talking in between about like how I'm doing this in my life. So let's get into number 1. So the first tip that I have for you is to habit stack. Habit stacking is where you basically like find a habit that you already have. At least this is my understanding of it. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am, but I don't think I am. But it's where you like have an already established habit, like brushing your teeth every morning, or taking a shower every morning, or whatever the habit is, right? And then you just attach another habit that you want to add to that already established habit, right? So my advice would be to find a time to warm up your voice when you're doing something that you already do. Okay, so my example of this, which I think I mentioned on the show before maybe, but what I do is that when I have my practice days set, which I'll talk about choosing your days in a second, but when I have my practice days, I know that I'm going to start my warm up in the shower because I'm already showering, first of all, every day, every morning. And then second of all, the acoustics are great in the bathroom because of the tiles, right? And yeah, it's just like a nice start to the day for me because I always start with the basic warm up. And this is something that I talk about a lot, that I'm going to be implementing in my voice lessons. So if you start taking lessons with me, you're going to come up with your own specific, personalized to you voice warm up routine with warm ups that you actually like doing, because I never used to like warm ups, and then I was like, well, let me just do what I actually enjoy and what actually makes my voice feel good. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on in future voice lessons. So grab a lesson with me if you like, creativelybyestelle.com/sing, I believe. It's in the show notes anyway, but that way, or you could just go to creativelybyestelle.com and you'll see. That way we could get working on the warm-ups that will work for you. So I always start with my basic warm-up. So I know the ones, like I know that I kind of ramp up over time. So I start with like very simple, like easy lip trills, hums, super easy to do in the shower. So I love starting it in the shower, and then once I get out of the shower, by then like I'm ready to work through the song probably. So like I'll get dressed and then like I'll work through the song, sit down, work through the song for a little bit, and then I'll go about the rest of my day. So like I've already started warming up in the shower, so the habit is stacked, if that makes sense, right? So it's already coordinated with the habit of showering on those specific days. Okay, all right, so that's the first thing, is to habit stack. So find a habit that you already have. So like maybe you do I don't know, like a Bible study every night. So maybe you will say like, okay, like before my Bible study, I'm going to set aside 30 minutes to do a voice warm up and work on the song that I want to sing, that I want to learn, or whatever it is, right? So find a habit that you already have and then just attach a little warm up to that already established habit. There you go, habit stacking. Oh, that took a long time to explain, but there you go. All right, so next up we have the second tip is to choose your days, okay? And this is what I was mentioning earlier. Know what days that you will be singing and what you want to work on each day and for how long. Super practical. I personally have my voice lesson with my voice teacher on Fridays, so I know that I'm definitely going to be singing on Fridays. So I occasionally will do a warm up before it, but if I know that, like for instance, I'm recording this on a Friday before my lesson, and I know that I'm talking on this podcast, and I also know that we're gonna do a 1-hour lesson today, so I know we're gonna have plenty of time to warm up, so I'm not really worried about doing my own warm up beforehand. But if I have like a half-hour one, then I might want to warm up a little bit just so that we have more time to really work on the song personally, but it's up to you. In addition to that, I also work on my voice and like performing work. I work on those things on Tuesdays and Thursdays outside of my day job. So that way I know that in the morning before 10, or when I start work at 10, like before say like 9, when I'm gonna need to like get ready and whatnot, I will make sure that I'm done like my voice warm up. I've done like working on my class that I'm taking at Berkeley online for my certificate in voice technique and musicianship, Tuesday mornings and Thursday mornings and Thursday evenings. Tuesday nights I started back at my dance class, yay! So again, Tuesdays and Thursdays are for performing, so all things performing. So that's when I do like again, dance classes on Tuesday nights, voice warm-ups on both days, voice homework for my voice class, and whatever else. Auditions, like searching auditions, finding auditions, saving auditions, working on those auditions, right? I'll usually try to schedule for myself on Tuesdays and Thursdays personally. Those are like my key days that really help me know, like, oh, I'm definitely doing performing arts related things on these days. And then Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays Monday, Wednesday, Fridays generally are more business related. But of course I still take a voice lesson on Friday, so it's fine. So, but just choose which days, like, oh, on these days I'm definitely going to be working on X, Y, or Z. And then also Saturday mornings I will do a voice warm up Saturday mornings, and then I tend to Sunday anyway because I have church on Sundays, and I sing every Sunday in my choir. I'm generally leading, so I definitely want to make sure I warm up my voice before I go sing, a powerful worship praise song, with all my heart. So I need to make sure I'm warming up. So typically that's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's about 5 days a week typically that I will warm up. You don't have to do that many days. It's up to you. And it also depends on like what your goals are. Like I definitely want to, I'm making this my career, so I definitely want to be really intentional, and I don't always do it. Like I said, I'm not perfect, right? So if I've really been singing a lot, because I have choir rehearsal on Friday night, so if my voice is exhausted, I'm not gonna do a warm-up Saturday morning, right? I might sing a little bit later in the day or not at all, and then kind of just like take care of my voice and then warm up on Sunday morning. So yeah, that's just what works for me. And I'm always learning, and I'll always share things that I'm learning and things that I want to do better. So yeah, this is just what I'm sharing right now. But for you, choose your days. Is it 1 day a week? Is it 2 days a week? Choose those days, choose the times that work for you. Do you prefer mornings, or do you want to wait until your voice is a little bit more like you've used it throughout the day and you want to warm up and sing in the evening? So it's up to you. All right. So that's the second thing, is to choose your days and times. Okay, so the third thing is to establish a simple voice warm-up. So this is a great way to start your singing practice, because you want to start with a warm-up, right? So your voice is a muscle, so you want to make sure that you are warming up, right? You're like stretching, you're getting your muscles ready, and you're preparing yourself mentally as well. So warm-ups are very important. Like I said before, I'm starting to do this from the very first session with students. So if you have never taken a voice lesson with me, come on down. I'm going to help you come up with your own voice warm-up that's personalized to you. But I will give you some tips here to establish a simple voice warm-up. I should definitely do a full episode on this one day. Basically, you want to start with like a basic warm-up where you're doing simple things to just get you started, get your voice, again, start getting some blood flow to your voice muscles, especially if you're starting in the morning, to your vocal folds. So you want to just start with some hums, right? Light hums with like a slightly open space in your mouth. I'll just demonstrate now, right? I usually will start with, right? So it's just 3 notes, going up and down. That's how I personally like to start, with hums, and then it's easier to go from like high and then descending, right? So maybe you start in a higher key, so right, and you're just descending, and it's just like a nice easy hum. I hope that sounded good. If not, forgive me. Okay, I'm literally, this is my first warm-up of the day because, like I said, I have a voice lesson soon. So yeah, I like to start with the hum. From there, I like to go to lip trills. Lip trills, you can do the same kind of note pattern there if you want to. The 3-note, that was I guess 3 notes because it's just up and then 2 notes coming down. I did not write any of this down, so I'm thinking off the top of my head. Like, this is what I actually do, but explaining it is a little bit different. And then lip trills, I'll usually do like, again, I know that it's best to do descending from based on what I've learned in my classes. But sometimes I go up because I'm just like, look, I want to start in the basement and then go up from there. But I know it's technically better to descend when you're just getting started warming up. Choose your, do what you want to do. So lip trills, super easy, right? It's a great way to, actually, it's not really that easy for me, but it's a great way to work on breath control. Oh, sorry. Before I start any of this, I always try to take some deep breaths, get myself into proper breathing technique, get myself into that mindset of breathing properly, and make sure, of course, adjusting my posture, maybe doing some shoulder stretches, neck stretches as well. I do all of this in a voice lesson, I promise. I do all of this regularly, but it's just like I'm getting nervous sharing this. But yes, this is what I do. I usually start with like warming up my body a little bit, some shoulder stretches, neck stretches, gentle stretches, of course, very gentle, and maybe even loosening my jaw a little bit, right? Kind of moving my jaw side to side very lightly, very gently, and then getting into and breathing as well, and then getting into my humps and my lip trills. But lip trills are great because they also establish that kind of proper breathing technique, helping you get that airflow, that consistent airflow, which you need in order for your lips to trill, right? To make that burr sound, right? That vibration. So you're just blowing air through your lips, but you're doing it on a note or on certain notes, right? So, right, I'm doing it on, but I'm doing the lip trill. So that's another great warm up to get you started. I'm just giving you some super simple things that you can do to get started when you're just starting to warm up your voice. Hums, lip trills are great. You can also go with some slides, a great way to get through all of your, to really help you get through your different passages, right? Passages are those typical breaks between your registers. Guys, I should do a whole episode on this, but to go between your registers, right, from your lower register to your upper register, those different registers, we call them chest voice and head voice, not because they're actually like your vocal cords are not in either of those spaces, but your vocal cords are in your throat, but you are in your trachea. Sorry, I was like trying to think of an anatomical word, but you are feeling those vibrations kind of in your chest and the lower registers versus in your head when you're singing an upper register. So that's kind of why we describe it like that. But when you're going from those different registers, right, we all have natural breaks when we're going through those registers because our voice uses different muscles when you're singing lower notes versus higher notes. Dominant muscles, of course, like you're still using the muscles, but there are certain muscles that are more dominant in your chest voice versus your head voice. And we can get into that in another episode. But slides are a great way to go through those registers when you're doing a warm-up, and to really help you like get used to making that transition, because you're going to make that transition when you're singing songs typically, because you're going to have to sing songs that where you need to have that balance, that mix between your head voice and your chest voice. So yeah. So those are just some tips for getting started with a simple voice warm-up. Start with some hums, some lip trills, some slides where you're going from one note to another note, right? So from very seamlessly. So those are just some examples. Let me know if you want me to do like a whole episode on voice warm-ups, because from there you can get into like technical voice warm-ups where you're working on like, okay, placement, and working on, having a more balanced tone. There are warm-ups that are specifically helpful for creating a mix between your chest voice and your head voice, right? So let me know if this is interesting to you and you're like, I need more. Tell me. DM me on Instagram at Estelle F. Berry, or email me at estellefberry@gmail.com, or at hello@creativelybyestelle.com. All of that is in the show notes. Please contact me and let me know. I would love to do more episodes on that if that's something you're interested in. So yeah. So the third tip is to establish a simple voice warm-up, okay? There you go. That was a lot. So real quick, the last two tips, right? So tip number 4 is to make sure you choose repertoire that you love, right? Repertoire is just like your combination of songs, like songs that you know and that you sing on a regular basis. That's my definition of repertoire anyway. But choose songs that you love, basically, right? I talk about this all the time. This adds to your confidence. It helps you build confidence as a singer when you're singing songs that you genuinely enjoy, that maybe have like a deeper meaning for you, that you connect with, that you relate to. Sing songs that you enjoy, that are in the right key for you, that you like singing. I don't know, you like the rhythm, you like the melody, you know, it's powerful to you. Like whatever it is, like make sure you choose songs that you love. This is going to help you with consistency when you are saying, okay, I want to practice this song throughout this week for 2 days a week, whatever. So make sure you're choosing a song that you love. That is tip number 4. Super simple. And then the last tip is accountability. You know, work with a singing partner, right? Find a friend who also wants to sing, and you guys commit to, you know, keeping each other in check, making sure you guys are both doing your practice routines, right? If you don't have anyone that you know likes to sing, come to the Facebook group. Again, it's in the show notes. Come to the Facebook group, join, and let us know. Like, I'll be your singing partner, right? And we could keep each other accountable. You can also commit to like posting yourself singing, right? I do a song of the day challenge, musical theater edition on my TikTok, and I have kind of gotten away from it, and now I'm just doing it like weekly, but still, like, I want to keep going, and it helps me to like remain committed. It gives me that accountability factor. And then you could also work with a voice coach. That is an amazing way to keep yourself accountable. Again, I would love to work with you, right? If you know that you are ready to rediscover your love for the performing arts, you want to start building confidence in your singing again, right? You want to sing songs in front of people, and you don't want to be frozen in fear, and you want to know that you can audition for a show, or, you know, that you can, you know, go back to singing like you used to when you were younger, and you know that you want to start singing again. I would love to sing with you, right? And with me, like, you could get your own singing plan with complete with voice warm-ups, a guide for working on your favorite songs, and of course the support and accountability that you need to really help you build confidence in your voice and in your performance style, right? So if you would like to get started with beginner voice coaching with me, I would love to work with you. Okay, come check out my link at creativelybyestelle.com/sing. I would love to work with you. I'm really implementing, like I said before, helping my students with a practice routine. So if you know that you want to be really intentional about singing on a regular basis and you need that accountability, come and sign up for a lesson with me. I would love to have one with you. And I believe I still have a couple more spots for 50% off of an hour lesson. So take advantage of that literally right now, because I don't know if by the time I even release this, if it'll still be available, but hey, it might still be. So if you are interested, definitely email me. If you're interested in a discount, I might still have that available by the time this comes out. If not, definitely go creativelybyestelle.com/sing. Get started with the half-hour session, and let's go. So that way you can actually start singing, okay? So I hope this episode helped you, inspired you, encouraged you, and reminded you that you absolutely can start singing today, right? Establish a practice routine. Again, I'll go over my 5 tips. Number 1, habit stack. Find a habit that you already have and add your practice routine to that. Number 2, choose your days and times, okay? Know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. Number 3, establish a simple voice warm-up, okay? Starting with the basics of humming, lip trills, and slides, and then go from there and have fun with it, okay? Number 4, make sure you choose songs that you love. This is going to help you so much to stay consistent. And number 4, establish accountability, right? Work with a singing partner, post yourself on a regular basis, or come work with me. I would love to sing with you. Look at me, I'm already singing, okay? I would love to sing with you. I'd love to help you come up with your own practice plan, practice routine, vocal warm up, whatever. Let's sing together. It'll be so much fun. Okay, I hope this helped you, and I hope you really start singing on a regular basis. Let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram again, or come join the Facebook group, and let me know what you thought of the episode and what you would like to hear coming up, okay? Thank you so much for being here and for taking the time. As always, I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Creatively by Estelle. I hope you feel encouraged by today's episode as you start this week. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to just share this episode with a friend if you liked it, or with someone who you think this could be encouraging to. It would really help this show. Also, if you really loved this episode, if you wouldn't mind going to Apple Podcasts and leaving a review and rating this show, it would really help us reach more people through this show and grow our Creatively community. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.